Hello, my friends, and welcome to a lesson about stencils. Have you ever made a drawing and wanted to make a copy? Stencils are the way to go. They're pretty cool, and I'm going to show you a couple different ways that you can make that work for you depending on, well, what you want to see. So, what do you need? Well, the first type of stencil we're going to make is a very basic freehand stencil. So for this one, you'll need a piece of paper, though I recommend some cardstock so it has a little bit of thickness to it. You'll need a pencil, scissors, or even an X-Acto knife. If you have one and are comfortable with using it safely, it can give you a really nice cut. Well, you also need an idea. Oh, and if you do use that X-Acto knife, something to protect your work surface. You don't want to cut up that desk or table. So, let's get started. We also need some kind of an idea, right? Let's try drawing something. How about a little friend? Yeah, there we go. And that could be something very interesting. Maybe some kind of a person saying hello. Well, now we've got to cut that out. And you can use your scissors. I tend to like using the X-Acto knife. So I'm going to put my protective surface down, and very carefully, I'm going to cut this out. All right, so now that you have your stencil cut out, let's talk about these two things that you ended up with. You see, you've ended up with what we call a positive and a negative. See that positive space filled? See that negative space with nothing in it? These are actually two different kinds of stencils that you can use in very different ways to get very cool effects. Well, the first thing I want to do is one more thing to this one. You see what I mean? I want to give it some eyes. Yes. And let me cut those out real quick. Cool. Okay. So now you're going to need some different materials. And these are the same materials you'll need at the end of each of the methods I show you. So put these aside for now and go ahead and get something to hold some water in. And put some water in it. Just a little bit. And a palette would be great. Oh, and a paintbrush. And some paint. And you only need one color for now. And of course, we're going to need some paper as well. Now, if you don't have those things, go ahead and get them. Just push pause on this for now, and then let's go ahead and make some prints. If you're ready, well, what we're going to do is try this out. We're going to get just a little bit of paint. Okay, now we've got two different types of stencils. Let's try the negative stencil first. Okay, let's position it on the paper. Let's get our brush just a little bit moist if it's dry. You don't want too much water. I'm using acrylic paint. You can use tempera. You could use gouache. You might be able to use watercolor, though it doesn't always work that well. Chalk, colored pencil. There's a lot of things. But paint gives us a nice, even spread over our stencil. Go ahead and grab that paint, and then Roll it right over your stencil and lift. And there's one. Think we can do a second one? Let's try. We've made copies. And when those dry, I could make them look completely different. And that might be pretty cool. So what about the other one that we had? This one here. Well, let's give a couple of those too. But what I'm going to do is get a little bit more paint. Now, a stencil works by masking or blocking certain areas. So where it masks and blocks, color will not go through. On this one, it masked everything around our drawing, but on this one, it actually is masking our drawing. Let's see what happens when we do this one. Ooh. Check that out. Ooh, a little bit messy. We'll try it again over on this side. The wetter your paint, the more it may bleed. You're also welcome to use spray paint, but be careful with that. Make sure you have an adult to help you. Ah, there we go. There's another one. Well, you can see it's a little bit harder to do that one, but we still did get a pretty good impression. And this guy looks pretty cool with his color on him too. Okay. I'm going to put these somewhere to dry because we're going to do something with that again later. But I want to show you another method that you can use. For this next method, you're going to need some things a little bit different. You'll still need a pencil and a piece of paper, though definitely make sure this is some thick paper, construction paper or cardstock, maybe even cardboard this time. You'll also want to get a needle or pin or even a safety pin. That works pretty well. And well, that's about it. You'll also need an idea. So what could we do this time? Well, we could do something simple this time. What about a moon? Let's do one of those moons that look like somebody just clipped their fingernail right off. Yeah, a fingernail clipping moon. How interesting. Okay, I like that one pretty much, so let's go with it. This is going to be a little bit different, and this is a little bit more like something maybe you've heard of, screen printing. If you haven't, you should check that out too, but if not, let's try making one. Our idea is to follow our line with this pin and to poke holes. Now, you don't want to poke too many, but you do want quite a few, and also watch out for your fingers on the other side. Something that can work is to get a piece of felt or something soft to put behind the paper so that as you poke the pin through it, you're not going to have to hit anything else with it. Well, this is going to take a little bit, but let's do it. Whew, that was quite a workout, right? And maybe that popping sound relaxed you a bit, or maybe it drove you nuts. I don't know, but let's try this out. So, take a look and make sure you got those holes poked really well. Hold it up to the light if you need to. Now, you don't want to push too hard because if you poke them, well, a certain consistency, you'll be able to poke that thing right out of there, and you don't want to lose that because, well, then you'd just be doing the first activity. So, for this, you'll need a piece of paper. And you'll need to bring all that paint and everything back out. And this is all you'll need to try this one out. Now, you're going to want some pretty liquidy paint, but not too liquidy. With the negative that we did last time, with the positive that we did last time, remember we had some issues with it bleeding a little bit. We don't want that to happen again with this one. Okay, position your stencil somewhere you'd like it to print. Go ahead and make sure you got at least a little bit of moisture in that paint if it's not too liquidy yet. Push your paper down very well and put the paint right over it. Now, lift up your stencil and take a look. And it went right through because we had all those teeny tiny little dots. Let me show you a little bit closer. And it has a nice look to it. You can make very delicate designs like this. You could make letters, your name, all sorts of different things. It just takes a while to poke it, but you can get some really fine details this way. All right, I'm going to put this one to dry and show you another method to get some really detailed, sharp-looking stencils. For this type of stencil, we're going to bring out the big stuff. Some cardboard. This is from like a cereal bar box or a granola bar box, or well, a cereal box would work just well, but it's thick enough with not being too thick or hard, and it should serve us very well. Again, you're going to need a cutting surface to protect your table. You'll need an X-Acto knife or scissors. But in this case, I very much recommend an X-Acto knife. Maybe even a box cutter if you feel you can get a good amount of accuracy with it. What else will you need? A pencil, and in this case, you will need a reference photo and some tracing paper. We're gonna use this photo to make ourselves another stencil, but we have to do some thinking as we do it. Let's get everything else out of the way right now except our pencil, paper, reference, and tracing paper. I have a picture of a fox here. I want to make a fox stencil, and I want to give it some good form, a little bit of detail. But you know, if I outline this whole thing and cut it, the whole thing will fall out. The whole thing will be one color, or whatever colors I use. And that's not really what I'm looking for. I want to make the outline of this fox be the stencil. For that, I'm going to have to break it up into shapes. Because if I don't leave some kind of gap every so often, well, then the whole thing will fall out. So I'm going to go ahead and put my tracing paper over this. And you know, another thing you can do is take a piece of paper, regular paper, put it over your photo and tape it up onto a window. You'll create sort of a light box and you'll be able to trace that way. All right. Watch what I do here. Watch very carefully how I transform the outline of this fox into some shapes I can use for my stencil. All right. Did you notice how I was peeling this back constantly? It can be sort of hard to see some of these features through the tracing paper, so I do also check. And of course, you can use your artistic license to change a couple of things. But this is how I captured that fox. Notice I didn't draw the fox. I didn't connect these shapes. They are all separated. they're a bit thickened out. And it may not look exactly like a fox, but when you see it, you're gonna know it's a fox. So what do we do with this? And how do we use this nifty tracing paper to make a copy of this? Because that's printing of itself. Take your tracing paper and your cardboard, and now take your tracing paper and turn it over on the other side. You'll be able to see your pencil through there. Now, take your pencil again and rub on the side right over the lines you've made. Another alternative would be to trace the lines you've made. Either way, you should start to see it transfer over to the cardboard. If you don't see that happening, you may need something with a little bit more force. The blunt end of a pencil or Sharpie or something can also be great, and you can burnish it in. But with a nice dull pencil, if you trace those lines you made from the other side, they should start to transfer over. All right. If you look closely, you can see a sort of ghosted image of the pencil that I just traced and then rubbed over from my tracing paper. Okay, the next step is to cut all of these shapes out, and that may take some time. So I am going to zip forward, but do cut all your shapes out carefully. All right, here is my complete stencil, and now it's time for the great testing. You'll need a piece of blank paper. Set your stencil right on there. You'll also need some paint and a palette to put it in. A water dish for rinsing and moisture, and a brush. This stencil should last a good long time because of the cardboard, and when you get really good and comfortable with this process, maybe even plastic will work as well. Let's hold our stencil down nice and firm and bring the paint across. Making sure to fill in every shape. And there is our fox. Look at that. Pretty cool. Hey, you know what? And we can make another one as well. Let's even try a different kind of paper, maybe a patterned paper. See how that looks. Try some different medium. Chalk, charcoal, pastel. And of course, you can draw on one of these as well and add details later when it dries. Well, I hope you pick up something cool from this lesson. And you know, you can come back and check out any of these methods and keep getting better and better and make more and more and more and more of your work. See you again soon, friends.